All right, we learned to solve a quadratic equation by factoring last semester. We learned to do square root method, which can only be used in certain cases. We used complete the square, which can be used in any case. And we're going to learn another method, which is the quadratic formula. Now, given a choice, I would choose this method over complete the square anytime. First and foremost, I would choose factoring, okay? But none of the ones that we're going to do today could have been factored, so you would have to use a different method, and this would be the method I would choose, okay? So factoring and quadratic formula, those are the methods I use. First and foremost, your equation has to be in that form. Ax squared plus or minus bx plus or minus c equals 0. Has to be equal to 0. Has to be equal to 0. So if anything's on the other side and it doesn't say equals 0, then you got to get it that way, okay? Just like with complete the square, the a is the number in front of the x squared, the b in front of the x, and the c the constant term, okay? So your job is simply going to be to plug it into this formula. It is a formula that I'm not asking you to memorize. It is on your blue sheet, although in an Algebra 2 class, 100% you'd have to know this by heart. You'd have to know it, okay? I will tell you that first hour, second hour this morning, by the time they finished their homework, they knew it without looking at the paper at all, okay? One of the reasons, because there is a nice little tune for the quadratic formula going along with Pop Goes the Weasel and Row Row Your Boat, but that one's a different, I don't know that one as well, because I got to think differently. I know it to Pop Goes the Weasel. And although I'm not asking you to memorize this, you would need to know sometime how to memorize this and have it down, okay? Literally just ran into a student last night who's a sophomore in college, and she's like, that's one of the things I remember. I just used it on my MCAT. Like, she just took her MCAT about 2 weeks ago. But knows it because of that, okay? So, here it goes to my best voice. I'm not a good singer, so just bear with it, okay? Look at that as I'm doing it, though, so you can see it and hear it at the same time. Ready? Here we go. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm going to do it again. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now if Jimmy just get his guitar out and he could do that while I'm singing, Jimmy, we could go on the road. I know we could do it. Don't you think?
Sure.
Ryan.
Sure.
That's my dream, Jimmy. When I come back in my next life, I'm going to be an 80s band singer. I am. You watch. You're going to go to some club when you're older and you're going to like, looks a lot like Mrs. Snyder. I'm going to have died and you're going to know it's me up there. It's going to happen. Okay, so let's do it. X squared minus 3x minus 8 equals 0. It's equal to 0. Has to happen. I do not need you to list the A, the B, and the C for me, but I'm going to do it. A is the number in front of x squared, understood 1. B is the number in front of x, C, the constant term. So you don't have to list them unless you just want to. You can go directly to your formula, which is given to you. So I plug it in. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared, lots of parentheses, minus 4 times a times c over 2 times a. And then I have 3 calculations to do. The first one, negative 3 becomes positive 3. Then, I really don't want you to make a mistake on this, and there's 2 spots on this that people tend to make mistakes on. So I would really prefer if you would just go to a calculator, I'll be honest. And exactly like that looks, not the radical piece, just the piece I have highlighted. Parentheses, -3, close your parentheses, square, -4, parentheses, 1, close parentheses, parentheses, -8, parentheses. Like literally plug that into your calculator, because people mess up doing it by hand because of the signs. So you should get 41. And then my third calculation is that denominator 2 times 1. Then we take a look at that 41, and I go through these questions. Is it a perfect square? 41? No. Does 41 have a square factor?
No.
So I'm done. That's my answer.
On the interruption, is
Yeah.
Hunter?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you can answer.
Hunter, I'm gonna post this video because something weird's gonna happen, not weird, but different's gonna happen on the next one. It'll be on the outline at the end of class. All right, next question. Again, I don't need you to give me the A, the B, and the C listed separately, but I'm gonna do it just for your notes. You can go directly to the formula. So I have negative B plus or minus square root B squared minus 4 times A times C over 2 times A. And then I have 3 places to calculate. Negative to a positive 4 is -4. And then punch the next thing into your calculator, and you should get 40. Over my denominator, 2 times 1 is 2. Then I look at this number and I ask myself, is 40 a perfect square? No. Can I break up 40? Does it have a square factor? Yes. I can make it 4 times 10. Be careful how you write this. So you've got your -4 plus minus, and then my 40 goes to 2 square root 10 over 2. So when I break up 40, it stays right there, 2 square root 10, behind the plus minus. And then there's one little thing, and I like to just call it something because I just go, look for this. So instead of making it a mathematical term where you have to factor and simplify, because that's actually more complicated, I just call this look for Mickey Mouse. Okay? So that means, and you don't have to literally circle them, but I want to show you how it's like a Mickey Mouse ears. So if I look at these 3 numbers, not the 10, not the radical, but these 3 numbers, and they are all reducible or have a common factor, then I can reduce it. So is there a common factor to -4 and 2 and 2?
Yeah.
It is
2.
2. So you just divide them all by 2. Not the radical. So -2 plus or minus 1 square root 10 over 1, which if I wanted to, I don't care if you do it or not, I could just get rid of the 1s and just have -2 plus or minus square root 10. So I call that, again, can you simplify it? Look for Mickey Mouse. That's how you'll know. It's got to be all three, which is my point of the ears and the face. Can't just be two, got to be three. Okay, on this next one, it's not equal to 0. So that 9 has to move over. Because it's a positive 9, we're going to subtract it. So I have 2x squared minus 8x minus 9 equals 0. So again, a is 2, b is negative 6, c is negative 9. And I plug it in. So, negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4 times a times c over 2 times a. 3 calculations. The negative 6 is positive. And then under the radical, I get 36 plus 72, 108, I think. 92, 102, yes, 108. And then I ask myself, is 108 a perfect square? It is not. Does 108 have a square factor? And you might need your chart to help you find that pair, but it does. It's 36 times 3. So 6 plus minus 6 square root 3 over 4. Look for Mickey Mouse. Is there a common factor to all three of those things? Yes, I can take 2, divide that. It's not always 2, it just happened to be that. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, another example, or do you feel like you could go for it? You could go for it? Okay. So, I am having you skip 2 questions because I don't remember which ones they were. So you have 6 questions to do. Skip 3 and 5. So OTL 10.3. Skip numbers 3 and 5. Okay. Assessment on this Monday. Okay. And then again, I'll also suggest continuing that exam review. 11 through 13. And I actually would suggest 1 through 13. So again, you're repeating those ones that go the furthest back. Okay? So exam review 11 through 13.